Hello and welcome to The Resourceful Woman. I've been away for a while. I've been working on several different projects, some of which were not very film worthy, some of which took quite a bit of time. So I am back and ready to start filming and editing again. So I'm very excited to share with you today one of my recent projects, which is part of my handmade thrifted capsule wardrobe. Some of you may recall that back a few months ago I went and raided all of the charity shops, thrift shops in the area, and came home with a big haul of clothes. And I've now been working my way through some of these pieces to fit them, restyle them, and make them right for me. So today I'm here to share with you this wonderful pair of shorts. These started out as a pair of men's shorts that I picked out really because of the fabric. I thought that the it's kind of like a thick canvasy sort of cotton. It's really easy to work with, and it's really soft and comfortable to wear. So I thought that I could probably trim these down and fit them to my personal taste and make them work for me. So let's get started. I'll show you how I did it. First, I laid out this pattern. I've had this in my pattern stash for a while, and I thought that these kind of high-waisted trousers with the little button details would work really nicely. I then went about picking apart the existing shorts along all of the seams. So I basically took it down to 6 main pieces. There's 2 pieces in the front, 2 pieces in the back, 2 waistband pieces, and I set aside the zipper and some of the little scraps of fabric that held the zipper in. I'm not going to reuse these on this, but I put them back in my stash. I can definitely find a use for the zipper on something else. So then I ironed all of the main pieces flat and then lined them up with the pattern that I had chosen. Now obviously I'm not going to make long trousers, I just want to make shorts. I want to make them high-waisted, and so I kind of lined up what I had with what was on the pattern in order to show myself where to chalk some new sewing lines. Now this next step is slightly unusual. I put the pieces together along the sewing lines with safety pins, and that was so that I could try these on and get a feel for how these lines that I'd drawn worked without sticking myself full of just straight pins. So here's the first try on. It's not looking very good. I was starting to have some doubts, but I took some notes on kind of what needed to be a little bit better and make these a little bit more flattering. And so I took apart some of the pins and repinned them in places. On the second try, I actually sort of folded in the pocket areas to give a little bit of curve and contour over my hips. So you can see here I just kind of took the existing pocket and tucked it inside itself a little bit, and then pinned it back in place. And then as well, I thought after the first try on, I thought it would be a good idea to roll up the hems. I just thought they would just look better along the bottom with a kind of rolled up hem. So I sewed along all of the pinned lines. This meant that I was sometimes re-sewing the original edges that I had taken apart with the seam ripper, but you know what, honestly, it's better to get all the pieces like flat out and figure out how they go and re-sew rather than try to figure it out while it's still kind of a sewn together whole piece. So where I had tucked the pockets in, I top stitched over that in order to make the seam kind of stay. And then where the hem rolls outwards, obviously I didn't want to have like rough edges on the outside there. So I took that apart and marked where I wanted the rolls to kind of finish. And then I just kind of stitched them back together backwards, meaning wrong sides together, did the rough side on the outside so that then when it was rolled, the inside had the nice clean seam. I then rolled these back up, and so then you can kind of see how it all comes together, and then I stitched those folds down into place. The hardest part of this whole thing was figuring out the waistband and the closures, because obviously the old shorts had just kind of a simple waistband going all the way around, and then it kind of hooks and buttons and zips right in the front of the middle. But with this new design, I had this sort of full front flap. I had tried for a little while to figure out how to make those buttons on the front be functional, but actually even in the pattern that I had, they were not functional buttons. They're just for show. I eventually kind of gave up on that and decided that I would try to do sort of hidden closures at the top of the front flap, and I tried as much as possible to preserve the existing closure pieces. So I had these little hooks that were in part of the waistband. So I kind of set those to be in a particular position. I tried to position those so that they'd be right where I wanted it to close on one side. And then on the other side, I inserted an internal inside button and buttonhole. And actually, now that I've been wearing these shorts for a couple of weeks, I really only have to unhook them on one side to get them on and off. So I've pretty much just closed up the one side that had the hook and just leave the other side open. Oh, and then the final kind of steps that I wanted to do was to do those decorative buttons. My partner gave me a really good idea, which was to just sort of put stickers down the front as I was wearing them to kind of figure out where I wanted the buttons to be positioned. And then I checked with him over and over because he had a lot of opinions about what would look good and how to position the buttons to kind of flatter my figure in the best possible way. So I used bits of torn up Post-it notes, very scientific, and positioned the buttons here and then just sewed them on. So here you have the final finished product, my kind of vintagey 1940s looking girly shorts made out of thrifted men's shorts. So I'm actually really happy about this project. I loved how it came together. It was actually really quick. It only took me maybe like a day and a half to do, because all the fabric was really just cut out. It was just a matter of finding the new seams and getting the fit just right. The most challenging part was, of course, doing the waistband. I think I still need to go back and do a few little edits to these shorts just on the inside to kind of make the seams a little bit cleaner. But on the outside, I'm very happy with these. I've been wearing them for weeks now, and yeah, I really enjoyed this project. Would definitely do something like this again. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed sharing this with you. If you have any questions about how this all came together, please do leave me a comment below. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.